Are you an independent musician feeling overwhelmed by the endless act of juggling creativity, business, and self-care? You're not alone. That's why I created the Artist Mind Map. The Artist Mind Map is a free blueprint designed to help you get clear on the route you need to take to attain your career goals in alignment to your artistic values. This is not just another random PDF page for the forgotten corners of your hard disk. It's a timeless roadmap you can use for decades to come. Think of it as a go-to overview to consult. When you grab your free mind map, you get exclusive access to a masterclass that will take your career to the next level. I use the same methodologies and systems for my high-end paying clients and students. So why am I giving it to you for free? Simple. I want to build a community of artists who can count on each other for safe spaces. Music saved my life. I believe that you have all that it takes to be the artist you were meant to be, if you're willing to put in the work. And more importantly, understanding what that work is. And the Artist Mind Map was designed to help you do exactly that. So if this resonates with you, go to artistmindmap.com and download this resource. artistmindmap.com. We've had solo casts, we've had guest interviews. What we're going to share today on this episode is neither nor, but this is a very raw, very unfiltered account of my accountability session with my business accountability partner. Now, for those of you who don't know what it is, it's basically a co-artistpreneur who you can work with on a regular basis. It's a great alternative for those of us looking to up our game as far as our accountability to our own work is concerned, without necessarily hiring a coach for multiple reasons, be it your financial budget or just the space you're in emotionally or psychically or whatever. Or maybe you just haven't found the right person to work with. I took Rocco's permission to share this. Rocco's my accountability partner. And that being said, I want to warn you, this is raw, this is unfiltered, there's no agenda. We didn't think of an audience when we were having this conversation, but looking back, it felt like there were so many valuable insights in here. My community, my folks, my audiences could have a lot to benefit from what we talk about. We are closing the season for multiple reasons. This episode talks about a lot of stuff I'm grappling with on my artistic/entrepreneurial journey at the moment. That being said, we'll be back next month with a bunch of solo casts, curated ones, and guest interviews, and live recording taping sessions. Stay tuned for that. For now, tune in. There's a wealth of solo casts and archives of past interviews, past episodes, which I highly recommend you listen to in the meantime. This is all work I'm putting in for your benefit. And I don't want to sound high-handed when I say that, but know that it comes from the most genuine, authentic place that I have to offer as far as my artistic journey is concerned. This podcast is about helping people, and I want you to benefit from the research, my experiences, and my insights that I have gained through 25 years of work. And please remember, this is a completely independent production. So if you want to support this ongoing endeavor, consider subscribing to us on a podcast platform of your choice. And if you're feeling particularly generous, consider giving us a review. Audio is a bit whack. It was a Zoom recording session, just straight to laptop, and I'm in the middle of nowhere at the moment on a very, very remote island where the internet connection can be quite shaky, as you'll find out. So my apologies about the audio sounding a little strange. I put it through some audio processors, but you can, as you'll probably hear, it's not great, but I think it's good enough to get the message across. I put it through an AI processor, full disclosure. So it can sound slightly robotic. I'm not a huge fan of that sound, but hey, it's the best I could do. And I just really wanted to make sure that the message of whatever it is we're getting at in this conversation is something I can give you access to. Enjoy.
Oh, yeah. I think, did we speak over each other? I said, how are you doing?
That'll be the latency to thank for.
Well.
But my internet's improved since the last time we spoke, which is a relief. It was really bad for a couple of days. It turns out it's not always that bad. It was a bad patch for a couple of days. But
Okay.
what's been happening? How's your week?
Good. I look slightly distracted. My computer updated and I lost all of my tabs, so I'm trying to find where I was taking notes. Oh, there it is. How was my? So good stuff. Good stuff happening. Yeah, nothing like, I don't know. It's just the regular stuff is all going well. Like the church job, things are moving along. We've got some big projects, and they're just kind of we're on task. There's nothing going wrong. Everybody's on the same page. We're all doing our part. And I'm not used to things working this well. So, great. Same thing at the organ shop so far, knock on wood, with the pipe stenciling project. Everybody's doing their part. Everybody showed up. We've got it nice and organized, and we're just kind of going.
Looking out at the ceiling the whole time, wondering where's the shade?
I know. Like, I had a dream last night that I forgot to play the funeral I have this morning. But I woke up and I'm like, oh, that's in 5 hours. I'm fine. So even that, it was just like, I'm gonna just keep running with it. That's that. How about you?
How about me? It's been an interesting week. Some of which I should talk about a little more in depth down the line. But, mate, I attended an online AI summit yesterday. I'm sure you got the invite too from Graham, but he was one of the speakers. And I didn't even know why I registered at the time. I was like, what the heck? It's a free webinar. It was incredible. Like, I was blown away by the quality of the thing. I was like, wow. I mean, the amount of resources and research I got to do in this one day, they were really serious, legit folks. And also the list of speakers, they're incredible. This one day, I think I learned so much about AI. Long story short, I think some of the most reassuring aspects of the entire thing was one, a lot of these speakers, they're not like young kids into crypto and just like, there was one, the quintessential archetype, dropped out of school and made millions straight, from his laptop in India, then moved to Dubai. So there was this one guy who was like one of those like a crazy kid types. But apart from that, there were like older people. Like some of these folks have really mature, long-term, in kind of the traditional portfolios. One of the ladies, she was one of my favorite speakers, by the work for the London Times, and was a serious journalist who's interviewed Steve Jobs and people like that. They're all so grounded and just so and the resources they showed, AI is just so much different to what we think it is, in a good way. Basically, you're kind of growing a digital version of yourself, and as opposed to thinking of it stealing your job, the idea of kind of literally leaving a digital imprint of yours, which represents you way more authentically than a social media account or something. This is basically the evolution of social media. It's just like social media has grown up. That's the feeling I get. The stuff you can chat GPT, man, I had no idea. Graham talked about his Graham AI thing, his AI coaching app, wherein you can basically have a digital version of him. It reminds me of Superman. Did you see the one Superman version where he visits like basically the AI version of his parents?
No. Oh, that sounds great.
It's so realistic. Anyway, long story short, I I bought the replay where I can go revisit all of the lectures, and each speaker kind of gave a freebie away now. But some of these are actually really valuable resources. I was quite surprised. I haven't gotten. Could you give me a second? I need to watch out for the rice on the cooker. Let's see now. I didn't get particularly lots done. What did I even get done? Man, I haven't been very Oh, actually, that's not true. I've been writing a lot of blog posts.
Oh, good.
Catching up. So I finished writing. Do you still hear me?
Yep.
Rocco?
Yes.
I wrote a blog post on how to find a mentor, which I'm very happy about. And I also, and this is something I want to ask a professional opinion on, I also wrote a blog post, which I haven't published yet, or I'm on the fence, about my experiences with the Berlin guy and how harrowing it was. And that's something I'm probably going to have to take a little more time on. But I did want to, I even writing about it, just summarizing the entire event was a very helpful experience on having a lens of the whole thing. It was almost like journaling. So I've been writing a lot, and I've been communicating with Attractwell, with Ashley. Do you know her?
Yeah, I think she and I have exchanged a few.
So Ashley is also a coach for Attractwell. She's the head coach. She's the one who does the office hours. And last year, I'd asked about their services, and she'd offered her being my coach because I find her approach quite resonant. And at the time she said, I'll make sure, let's get you all over to Attractwell. And at the time I was like, that's not what I'm looking for. But now that I'm actually playing with the thought, and I finally want to decide on which platform I really want to migrate everything to, if I can, if possible, hit them up again and said, does that offer still stand if I migrate everything to Attractwell this year? And man, their response is really impeccable. Like, they responded within a few hours with exact questions on, okay, what exactly are we going to do? What do you need to migrate? I sent her a link to my website. She went, checked out the website, and got back to me. Okay, part of this is on the Piano Academy and so on. Would you need to do that? How many videos? So specific. So you can really sense this is someone who's gone and actually had a look at your work.
Nice.
Okay, I'm babbling. That was my week, and my other thing was I had a bit of a heart-to-heart talk with my director here, the director of the festival, and that's been good. Part of the reason I'm here, just to give you context, is this is an artist collective and festival. It's like a concept that I've been part of for 10 years. And like I might have mentioned, every time I'm here, it's so hectic. So this time, I really want to spend an extended period of time to kind of deepen the relationship with the people here and get a better feel for exactly, what happens on this island, what this festival is about, what the community is about. Because going forward, I'll only have time for communities and collaborations, which are really worth my time one way or the other. Very interesting conversations with him, not all of which have been very easy, by the way. That was me. That was my week.
Okay.
A bit all over the place and chaotic.
Yeah. Other things from my week. The weekend was pretty full of performances. Friday was a very interesting one. Friday was an actual concert. Saturday and Sunday there's a funeral and a wedding. Now I've got a funeral today, so it's kind of nice, rake in the extra money. But the Friday's concert was a big collaboration between a bunch of organizations. It was a fundraiser for the food bank, and a few of my students performed. I performed, and 3 local school groups performed. It was a really long. Notes for next year. Not so much music or talking. But one of my students really turned a corner. He's 17, and he started earlier this year, like at the beginning of this calendar year. And first time taking music lessons, but has an innate sort of ability. And he was kind of moving slowly. he's like into it, but not always making the time to practice, yada, yada, yada. Kind of typical teenager. And this time, one of the school ensembles performing was from his school. So his friends were going to see him play organ. And he like got his shit together. And it was a real lessons are just here at the studio, but the concert was at a church with a big pipe organ. So that was, of course, really exciting and fun. But I think he seems to have had an identity shift where he's now looking at himself as an organist. This is part of who I am. And he told his parents that, because he's, trying to figure out what does he want to do for a living and for the rest of his life. And he said, this is it. This is it. It's the organ. It's music.
Wow.
Yeah. So I told his parents, like, he has to tell me directly so we can have that conversation. So I because that's his decision. He has to own it. And they're very supportive. They get it. But I could have like my first protege.
Amazing.
Yeah. He's a little old. He's just finishing his junior year of high school. So he's probably going to have to learn a trade or something just to give him an income while he gets his music training up to snuff. I mean, what he performed this weekend was a beginner piece. It was like C chords in left hand, one note melody in right hand. Hand position doesn't change much, sort of a thing. But when he practices, he makes very fast progress. So there's potential there. We'll see. He has to play his cards right and make sure he gives himself at least 5 years to build the skills. But
amazing.
Yeah, it's really, really rewarding to see a student make a real shift like that.
Nice. Oh, I forgot to mention something actually pretty important about my week. I finally got a gym routine going on.
Hey, nice.
So I've been lifting heavy again after a month. So when I travel, I just stick to calisthenics and yoga and some bodyweight exercises like resistance. So I keep my strength up, but I haven't lifted heavy since November when I was, in Berlin for my longer spell again. And that's the one thing I've actually been noticing. Wow, lifting heavy really is different. Like my body's getting used to it again. So I've been sleeping lots this week.
Okay.
Sleeping lots and getting back into the rhythm of lifting heavy. And I'm going to send you a video of the gym. You've never seen anything like it. And the best part it's free for everyone. Anyone can just go. Oh. Yeah. Anyway, sorry to interrupt you, but I'm not sure. Something you said in there, I think it might have been, it was the word identity. Because I remember having this conversation with a fitness trainer about how they talk about, so much of your goals with quote unquote fitness has to do with identity. Once you shift your identity to being someone who's into lifestyles or, who considers their health or fitness levels as a part of their life, that's when the shift happens. So I think that was the law of association there.
Yeah, that makes sense. I've played games. I would say play games with myself. Like, for a period, I was a violinist because I had to really sharpen my violin skills, even though it's not at all my main instrument. So you're a gym bro now.
I've been, for full disclosure, I've been a gym bro for over 15, 16 years. I think part of the issue I've always had with this whole toxic masculinity thing is because I've spent such a huge chunk of my life around those parts, gyms, dojos, martial arts. But I love gymming. I love, also the intensity of martial arts. But I do not like most of the people who are out there. And I don't fit the archetype of the welcome gay guy either. So in this part of the world, there's no box for me. I'm a super straight dude who hates overtly bro-y dudes.
Yeah,
that's not the most common archetype to be embodying. I think a lot of it lies in my Asian background because it's so much easier for me in Asia in the metropolitans there because the relationship with working out inherently comes from a more mind-body system as opposed to growing muscle. So, just like Asian men generally, they'll be badass, but a lot more in touch with their feminine side. For example, I'm discovering a lot more cultural relevances, socio-cultural factors, the way they influence our world today, including mine. Especially being on an island in the middle of nowhere where I don't speak the language. Sorry, you're saying.
Yeah, that's okay. You reminded me. I also want to get back to lifting because I sort of like on and off with it. Like yesterday, I had kind of took a step. No, wasn't as I wouldn't call it a breakthrough, but I just reminded myself that since I'm a solo operation, that means I'm the manager and the employee. And as the manager, I tell the employee what to do, but I also give the employee time off. So yesterday I said, okay, the best thing for you today is to take the afternoon off because it's beautiful, sunny, and it's going to be raining the next few days. You need to get on your bike, do a long bike ride, because you just need that right now. And boy, howdy, it was great.
Yeah, I think I'm going to give myself the day off today. Just go for a long walk.
Yeah, you do better work on your on days when you do that. Like, it's super basic, but getting yourself to do it is, I don't know, that could be a cultural thing too, because American sort of old Puritan, there's something holy about work. This is this old theology from, if you're not working, you're falling into sin. And it just kind of has permeated American culture for 300 years.
And I know that I've talked about a lot of my American friends, colleagues, students. I think it's a very strange mix of theology, religious baggage, and capitalism. It's, they really kind of quite the club what they have there.
Oh my gosh. It's so gross.
Can get pretty gross. A lot of my cultural roots isn't exempt from it. As you probably noticed, the UK plays a big role in my upbringing, and the whole Industrial Revolution. That's where that shit show started. That very masculine, rational way of productivity. The whole idea of quantities of commodities being produced, being referred to as your idiom of success. That whole mindset is something that kind of has its roots in the Industrial Revolution.
That makes sense. Toxic productivity is, I don't know if that's a term, but you can make it a thing.
I think we are at the risk of using the word overusing the word toxic at this point, but I totally get you. It is toxic, though. It is toxic. And interestingly enough, I see something very similar in Asian countries now, especially India, because its youth is like really means business. I don't know if you know this, but more than 55% of India's population is below 25.
Whoa.
Yeah. So that's their biggest asset, their youth. And these kids they're like seriously freaking mean business, a lot of the folks that talk to universities, to some of my friends who are university professors in the States or Canada, they're like, wow, the Indians, every time they're here, they're doing business. Like my other students, they're like, okay, purpose, what do I do? I want to do with my life. And these kids, like the Chinese and Indians, they're like, no, like I'm here, like I'm in business and let's do this. And it's a very interesting combination. I'm on the fence, like some of the kids I work with in India as well when I teach. I have my reservations about some of the frameworks within which their idea of success is being sold to them as well. It can get pretty. I'm not sure I get it, to be 100% honest. But it's very relevant and on a global level too, because it's one of the biggest players at this point. You should listen to this one episode I did with this guy called Daniel Zachary. He's a singer from Boston who spends a lot of time in India. It's called An American in India, Busting Myths. You should listen to their episode sometime if it's of interest. Don't know why I went off on one there. Sorry, I went totally tangent.
Okay. That's
Oh yeah, productivity. So the reason I'm saying this is, I'm kind of bombarded with all these shooting upon about being productive too. I'm really struggling as well. Like, I'm really trying to gauge my sweet spot as far as productivity is concerned at the moment.
yeah, me too. I resonate with that.
How do you? I feel like I completely hijacked the conversation. I'm sorry. I'm a little embarrassed now.
But you're very self-conscious. Just talking.
Okay, cool. No, but didn't we like accountability agenda and stuff? Did we set goals? Did you have specific goals for the week?
Nope. We had wins, no goals.
You still there?
Yes.
Oh, thank you for hanging in there.
Yeah, no problem.
I went completely offline. Wow, this internet connection really is unreliable. Yesterday I was online all day long. It worked perfectly fine. And today, sorry about that. I think it's because it's super windy today, and that might be playing with this whole thing. My apologies, mate. Sorry.
Yeah.
You're a Trapco plan.
Yeah, it's the basic, right? Yeah, basic at 64 US per month.
Let's see what that gives me. Basic 1,000 contacts. No, I don't get is about the 3 volts and 3 classes. What exactly does that mean? I never got it. Think about the ways in which they might benefit the way
vault,
you did. And please don't ever hesitate to reach out if
you
have queries.
Is a class
My name's
and
TL. I'm an
community
independent
and
musician
kind of
and educator.
everything all
I'm
together.
the founder of the Holistic Musician Academy.
Is a course. They just call it a class instead of a course. So a bunch of lessons, materials.
Oh my God, you're so patient.
Yeah, no problem. Hey, sounds like you're back.
Funny. So apparently it's better outside than inside the office, which is supposed to have the best connection. Oh, okay.
Okay.
Well, to make the special, it's not this bad usually. But on the plus side, have a look about.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. I gotta say, I wake up to this view every day. It changes lives. It's the kind of thing that changes your life, like, forever.
Mm-hmm.
My windows literally show you, it's like a painting. So, anyways, I was just saying, thinking out loud, the trackball, that $69 deal. That actually is a very, very fair deal.
It seems like your biggest hang-up is like if the transfer over could be immediate and just no problem, would that?
I'm attached to the amount of features the trackball. Zenler gives me, like unlimited everything at 3 businesses, 3 different websites. I remember one of my first business coaches. She was on Kajabi. She said, "I'm just gonna I don't use New Zenler, but I'm just gonna keep this deal because it's like a killer deal. It's like an investment for her. Like, she's a business person. She comes from engineering and MBA and stuff. So her lens on it is completely different. It's like, I'm not using any of it, but there's no way I'm giving up this deal."
Yeah. Maybe also keep in mind. So you're being influenced by how much you're getting because you're a founding member. Is that? Okay. And that is a sales tactic, is to get people in, lock them in fear of losing what you have. That's how you keep people there. So how much do you think that's influencing you?
That's influencing me quite a bit, actually.
Oh,
it gives me it does give me a lot of freedom to do a lot of stuff. For example, my founding member deal, I can have Zoom webinars to up to 300 attendees. That's enterprise level. And like all the recordings, all of this stuff, it lives on the cloud on New Zealand forever. I don't have to bother about downloading them. So just as a webinar tool alone, and unlimited courses, unlimited videos, with Attractwell, you have a limit on the number of videos you can have on your account, right?
Yeah, I don't ever expect to hit that limit.
That's a good point. 200 videos.
Yeah. So having unlimited is not valuable for me. It might be for you, but that's why I didn't consider that.
Good point. Well, they're definitely the kind of people I want to work with. That's the biggest deal. The folks at New Zealand, they don't seem to be the kind of people I want to work with. Full disclosure, this might be a very weird thing to talk about, but I mean, we've gone there today kind of anyway, which is Aaron, hear me out. I mean, the founder is Indian himself, right? But there is historically, there's always been a slight clash between diasporic South Asians and homegrown South Asians who are based in India. There's always been a kind of a clash there. Because both parties are still struggling big time with their identity, you know, what that even means. It's a cultural thing.
Wow, okay.
Because India is a republic, but it's not really a culture. It's not really a country. It's a political ideology. Which is why diasporic Indians always say, you know, what does being Indian even mean? And one of the biggest things is when I joined, I remember, like if you're a brown dude with an Indian name, you're treated a very specific way, as opposed to I'd see other clients from Germany or Europe or the US get completely different treatment than I was, even though, you know, I was asking the same question.
Wow.
So that left a very strange taste in my mouth. That's another thing I don't think I can ever really completely look past.
So the other thing I just thought of as you were speaking is New Zealand seems to be, they're both pulling you, sort of wanting to keep you. New Zealand is keeping you with large swaths of features, so giving you the potential to expand a lot, and making you feel like if you leave, you will miss that opportunity and never have it again. That's seems to be how they're keeping you, or how they're attracting you. Attractwell is they keep their people and attract their people by the quality of their support and their partnership. So I guess look at the quality of the draw.
I know all of this, but it's such a completely different narrative when someone says it to you. It's staring at me in the face.
Yep.
It's staring at me in the face, but, you know, for some reason, I don't want to see it. But you see it, and knowing that you're seeing it, it's that apparent.
Yeah, because you said a few sessions ago that one of your major shifts is surrounding yourself with the best people.
Thank you for reminding me of that. Yes. I think this also has fear, you know, fear of failure is playing a big role. Honestly, man, I'm like, at the moment, my fears are like pretty big. And I'm disastrously behind schedule. So I'm, you know, that voice which says, "Oh, this was a bad idea, man. You should probably go find a job or something again." That voice is getting louder and louder, and the same voice which keeps saying, "You know, you might as well just keep that New Zealander thing. You have no costs. It's a cheap thing, and in case this thing ever works out, you can always just let that happen on its own." But so the two voices who are at war right now is one which says, "Hey, you want to do this right?" Which would mean go at something like Attractwell, work with people like Attractwell. The other voice is like, this was probably a bad idea. So you don't have to give it up completely, but don't invest too much. Just keep it on the side with a cheap deal, like something that doesn't eat into your bank account or something.
Which of those is the person you want to be?
There's a narrative here, and this is also related to something we talked about, you know, our client avatars. I mean, I guess I'm being the client avatar for one of these people at the moment. I'm struggling to find my place between the overtly privileged who expect random folks to invest 3 figures into some mentorship program. I'm seeing a lot of that. I find that disturbing. And the other extreme of cheapskates who are just always looking for a bargain. So I am really struggling to figure out, where do I fit into this equation? And this is being reflected in my hesitance in choosing between these two platforms. Does that make sense?
Yeah. May I suggest, this could be a lot of cultural bias on my side too. The sort of the two avatars of the, one's looking for a deal and the ones who are very well off and will just drop a bunch of money on something. The people with more money are more than just that. Yes, you can take your piece of the pie, but there's also people with more money tend to put more value in what they spend money on. So they're probably more likely to act on your advice and be more engaged. Even thinking just in my little microcosm here of just private piano lessons, the scholarship families here are really difficult to work with. It's not a sense of entitlement, but like they're always rescheduling and always like no showing and not responding to emails because their lives are kind of chaotic and disorganized. If their lives were less chaotic and disorganized, they would not be in that financial situation, probably. So I think people who are looking for bargains have much bigger problems to sort out before they're ready for somebody coaching at your level.
That's very helpful information, actually. Yeah, cultural biases are a big, I don't want to use the word struggle, but big, what's the word? What's the right word? Theme in my business to make sure that it doesn't fall prey to any of those. And full disclosure, one of the reasons I want to run a location-independent business is because I want to cater to clients who fit my worldview, and I don't want that to be restricted to any part of the world. You want to tell me more about this?
Yeah, sure. I'm thinking about, I'll throw a couple things out there. Like my experience with personal coaching, my coach offered her services to me for free because she was a member of my church, and when she was getting started, she offered the entire staff personal coaching. And I wasn't quite ready for it, but I mean, in her case, my case, I was still just getting my shit together, but she helped me get, sort of oriented. Maybe that's not relevant.
No, that sounds relevant.
Oh, okay. Yeah, except I'm thinking the people who don't have their shit together, maybe they're very talented, they need a career coach, but they also need to act on the advice of their career coach or act on what you do in coaching sessions. And that's just like, I feel the struggle myself because on one hand, it's the student's responsibility to sort through their own shit so that they're ready for you. On the other hand, one of my specialties as a teacher is taking people who don't have that innate musical ability and helping them make music anyway. Like, I'm just really good at that. It doesn't pay well. And it's, slow going work, and you get results very slowly. And it's really hard to keep them motivated. But also my students who really love music and really don't learn it naturally, they should not ever try to be a professional musician. They can absolutely stick with music for their own love of it. Maybe your clients have that musical ability, but if they really struggle with the business sense and the self-development and anything like that, where it's like very slow development of their skills that will help them build a business for themselves, then maybe they're just not cut out to be independent artists. Maybe their place is really to have some other source of income and music be their true love that they do as a part-time thing or with a band or something like that.
I struggle to be the guy to say that in a lot of ways, but I've been eating some humble pie with regards to this as well, just acknowledging that, hey, because for the longest time I used to think, hey, I used to be that guy who thought I'm just not talented enough to be a professional musician, and I made it because I made it to, and I worked my ass off. Turns out now at 46, in hindsight, looking back 30 years earlier, that's not true. I was actually pretty. It's a very weird thing to say about oneself, but I was actually very talented. I was in the wrong circles, and the reason I had to work hard is because I didn't find the right mentor. So I had to do double the work to kind of find my thing. But actually, I was very musical. And for the longest time, especially when I'd work for the city council, it was such a schizophrenic role I was often assigned. On one hand, I'd be occasionally sent. These Uber talents were at master level, were looking for a mentor. And on the other hand, they'd also be sending me like students who were basically a social project, not to sound rude, and literally like officially a social project who were dealing with very different issues, and music was being used as a solution to help them out in their life. And it was an impossible role, which is why I'm surprised that I hung in there for like 20 years. This is a job I did for 20 years. 20 years, man. And up until the very end, I was really convinced, no, I want to be that guy who has open doors for everyone. And it took a freaking pandemic for me to get a wake-up call with regards to, no, that is not a sustainable thing going forward. So that's actually very, very helpful. Man, this is deep stuff. I'm very proud of myself at the moment for trusting my gut and asking you to be my accountability partner. Looking back, cool. It's a good feeling to know that that your instinct was on point.
Well,
thank you.
I'm really glad I can help. Yeah, it seems like maybe this issue is holding you back more than you realize.
It is actually. It is. What do you suggest I do? Should I just would you? And I'm not going to leave you with the responsibility of it. Needless to say, it's my decision to make. But Kajabi's paid for till October, right?
Yeah. I mean, mine's paid for until November.
Yeah, same here. Same November as well, I think. So
I just ate it.
You just what?
I just ate the cost.
You're eating the cost. So part of the issue I'm dealing with right now is, should I just keep working with Kajabi until the costs are, Are
you trying to get your money's worth?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
What's your take on that?
It sounds like you ordered too much food at the restaurant. You're going to eat it anyway, even though it's going to make you sick. Don't do that.
Man, it's incredible how much easier things get if it's just someone else telling you the thing, staring at the face the whole time, It's so true. That's exactly it. It's staring me in the face. But I hear you say like, oh shit, yeah.
Hey, you do this for me when I need it. So
I'm glad. I really hope so.
Yeah. Oh, jeez.
Someone said the stuff I tell you, I'm like, man, that was really banal shit. He obviously knows that. Especially this, because it's not an official client religion. Yeah. So there's always a gray zone. So I'm always wondering where the boundaries are. So yeah, go for it though. No, 100%. That is so true. You're right. That's exactly what I'm trying to do. I'm like, shit, where does that come from? I think it's like a potent mix of immigrant parents, growing up, seeing a lot of people living way beyond poverty lines. I mean, mind you, I grew up in an era where India was still referred to as like the poorest country ever Mother Teresa was an angel because she saved the world because she went to India of all places to save people. Like, it's still a thing. Like, it's freaking, oh God, it's so cringy. That's, I spent 12 years of my life in that India. So, 12 years of very formative years with that around me. Part of it is the freaking jazz musician thing, because jazz musicians are still such fucking cheapskates, man. Like, it's incredible. It's like, oh shit, that cringy shit. Oh man, I'm is even as in so many are relearning the whole narrative, but so it's a potent combination there. So yeah, you're absolutely right. I'm just trying to I've gone to a buffet and I'm trying to get as many leftovers deep frozen so I can eat off that for a few more months. That's what I'm doing, aren't I?
In some way, I don't know. I think the bigger, more concerning part of that is more like, if you're using your time and energy in Kajabi and you don't expect to stay there, all that time and energy, if you had put it into Attractwell, then you'll have more at the end of the year.
That is very true. I guess the only fear I'm dealing with now is this is a $1,200 coaching package I'd be taking up. I'm trying to, I'm inquiring, but that's the cat who is urgently requesting being cuddled. We have a 10-year-old cat here. I'll see if I can introduce you, and who demands her cuddles every day.
Okay.
Part of my job. That's why I get to use the co-director's office, in exchange for cuddling her cat.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Anyways, I think one fear I'm wondering is, okay, so I've invested all of this now. I'm now investing into another $1,200 migration/coaching program. And what if the business failed even after that?
Okay. So the other thought I had before, I don't know how this will relate to what you are, that train of thought. Imagine your ideal future TL in 10 years, and you've met your goals in 10 years, and you're looking back on today. How would you view this, or how would that TL view this situation, or what would that TL say to you?
Lots to unpack there. I'd probably say you never compromised on your integrity or ethics and your quality. And that is something I'm proud of you for having done.
Nice.
That being said, it's not as easy, because I see a lot of senior musicians say that and use it to justify a sense of bitterness about the success they didn't receive and they thought they were entitled to. So I'm also worried about fitting that archetype.
You're so well tuned into all of the ways you can fail.
Yeah, I'm a little too well tuned. It's a problem. It's a genuine problem with my archetype, like the over empath and stuff. It is actually a problem. Excessive awareness. I'm not even kidding. It does backfire in business in a lot of ways. To give you an example, when I look back upon my work 20 years back, my first album, it took me 20 years. It's almost been, it's been 20 years now since my first album. And I listen back to it now, and I'm like, wow, this dude is really angsty. He's really mad at the world. But the quality of this work, I'm embarrassed about some of the sentiments that inspired and informed the album. Slightly embarrassed, like, all right, but a little embarrassed. But the quality of the work, I'm like, fuck, this is way better than I thought it was. Like, this was pretty awesome stuff. And then I think going back, like, shit, why did this album not do well? And that's a different negative spiral. I'm wondering, 10 years later, what if I did all the right things and still I never hit six figures? So I'm worried about being that guy too. I'm worried about going hey, you might as well have just stuck with New Zenler, made whatever you could have and just, cut your losses. Why do you have to go all in and,
Can you imagine a successful version of yourself that did not go this route? So if you went a different route in your career,
Come again? The cat was too loud.
Could you imagine a future version of yourself where you've been successful in another way? So without doing any online coursing or teaching, and say you did cut your losses, but you succeeded and it worked. What does that look like?
Here she is.
Yeah, I heard that little meow. Oh,
She's 10 years old and she demands to be cuddled.
or a version of yourself where you're so glad that you cut your losses.
Cut my losses. I'm actually really intent about being successful location independently. Like that's something I'm really passionate about for multiple reasons. It's for reasons like because my mobility, I want to be able to travel the world. I don't want to be caught up or be trapped in a country where I don't resonate. But I also want to have accessibility to the kind of resources where I can hop on a flight and be there for my mom anytime I need to be, because I am her primary caregiver. And having a successful location-independent business is the only way I can make that happen. That's my why. That's actually a pretty powerful why.
Mm-hmm.
It's the only solution I have to my biggest conundrum in my entire life, being trapped in environments I don't want to be in because of familiar ties.
Could you be location independent working for somebody else?
I tried that out. I could be partially, but it would be a means to an end. And it's not my thing, because I also want it to be aligned to who I am, my artist brand. So down the line, Holistic Musician Academy, it's not it's not a side gig for me. It's an extension of what I am now. That's very valuable to me.
That's what I think too. Because it sounded like there were moments where you were speaking where you had not fully sold yourself on your whole business, but you sold me on it, but
during this conversation today or in the past?
Yeah, like today.
That's
just a few moments where it was kind of you're waffling, like maybe is that fear of failure? Which okay.
Fuck, you got me. Yes, that's it. You're right. That's exactly it. I just had a light bulb moment.
Okay.
Yeah, I just realized this is not a side gig, right? I mean, this is why people need coaches. Like this again, it's staring me in the face. And yet, this is not a side gig. This is not a side hustle. This represents who I am. And of course, I want to make sure the people I work with are also on the same boat. I nailed it. Dude, Rocco.
I don't know. I just talked.
You just helped me nail one of the toughest decisions I've been grappling with all year long. Thank you. I owe you one.
No, you don't. We're super glad it could help. I hope I didn't just lead you into the worst decision of your life.
No, not at all. It's so interesting. I remember the folks at Attractwell, both Ashley and Greg, they've been so patient with me. I remember the minute they heard the name of my academy, they were like, they didn't say it, but it was so apparent that they really, really want to work with me because it's so in alignment to what they do. Like a lot of their copy is, sorry, the cat's pushing my laptop. Even the copy and the stuff, it's really what they're about. It's what they're so cuddle hungry at the moment.
Cats are so hungry.
He's all over me.
Oh man.
Funny thing is, I'm not a cat person, but cats really like me. I'll walk down the street and they'll come up and start you, which is apparently very rare. I think of myself more as a dog person, but with cats, I'm like, okay, you do you. I don't,
Probably why they like you.
Probably why, because I think the cats are very, very allergic to needy people. So, yeah. Oh, sounds really good. Oh, she left my laptop. She's using the laptop to scratch her head, and you got to see this. You see that?
Oh, yep.
Using my laptop to scratch her face. Oh my God. All right, mate. I should let you go. I've been totally eating up your time. Thank you so much for that, Rocco.
Yeah, happy to help. Glad I could help.
Thank you so much for your patience, for putting up with my internet connection. I hope the views could make up for it a bit.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
That's the mountain behind me.
Good. Well, enjoy the day off you're giving yourself. I think that's a very good idea. Just refresh yourself.
Thank you. I will do. This was really, really good.
Yeah, I'm glad we can kind of get to the bottom of things.
Yeah, I'm going to go and listen back to this recording. I'm so glad I... All right, mate. I'll let you go. I've taken up a lot of your time. And this lady here is like, she really wants some now because I'm going to have to pay her some attention. Okay, see you later.
Well, go do your job. All right, bye-bye.
Hey folks, I hope you found that episode helpful. Here's a little request. If you did, consider sharing this episode with your folks. Think about the ways in which they might benefit the way you did. And please don't ever hesitate to reach out if you have queries. My name's TL. I'm an independent musician and educator and the founder of the Holistic Musician Academy.